Welcome to Grateful Talks with Tiana, and if you're here, thank you so much for being here. I'm posting this video looking like this because I am trying to beat my own perfectionism, and I'm also trying to find a community of people that maybe relate to what I'm going through, or people that are just trying to change and become the person that they necessarily want to be in this life moving forward. Today, things are so hard right now. Things are so hard right now. And I need you to understand that you're not the only person going through this. But you will be the only person if you sit there and dwell in it, right? Now let's say there's other people dwelling in their own situations. But your situation, one, is unique because you're a unique person. But in terms of your situation as a whole to the world, you're not the only person going through what you're going through. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. Because I have to remind myself sometimes that I'm not the only person going through what I think I'm going through, right? Because I'm not the only person in this world. And I'm not the oldest person in this world. And I think that's the perspective that a lot of us need to have when we start talking to ourselves and saying, oh my God, why me? Why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, okay, tell yourself, one, I'm not the only person going through this. This is just a time or a season in my life that I have to that I have to say, like, okay, I'm not the only person going through this. What can I learn from this? There we go. That's what you're supposed to say. What can I learn from this situation? Understand that everybody goes through something. Everybody goes through money struggles. Everybody goes through career struggles. And one of my main struggles right now is the career struggles. And what I'm realizing is that I thrive. I thrive better in survival mode than I thrive in out of survival mode. Why? Because I've been in survival mode my whole life. So with all that to say, if you are in survival mode right now in this moment and you want to get out of survival mode, the first thing you need to do is sleep. Survival mode, I don't know where that accent came from, but survival mode is precious within itself, right? Because we do everything just to make sure that we eat, sleep, shit, piss, whatever. But stepping outside of survival mode gives you the opportunity to become or reach the dreams that you once had as a child, right? Now I'm out of survival mode. How do I move? I don't know how to move if I'm not busy 24/7. I don't know how to move if I don't have one person, or I don't know how to move if my house is so quiet, but at work it's so angry. You get what I'm saying? At work I need the money. At work I need this, I need that. And as somebody who is not the only child, I am realizing that, one, having siblings is a blessing, but two, community is what I need, right? Community is what I need, because sometimes the community will also remind you that you're not the only person going through what you're going through. And sometimes the community will also let you know, like, yeah, I went through that. This is how I handled it. And then you'll figure out how you should handle what you're going through, right? Right. For me, I've been just figuring it out by social media. Why? Because I am 25 and I make more than a lot of people in my family. I'm also the first person that kind of working when I'm working, and I'm living in a state that none of my family necessarily lived in before. So I'm breaking generational curses, yes, but they're also trying to break me at the same time. And I think that is the part where it's like, that's what I'm here for, right? As somebody who grew up with, Mom, if you're seeing this, I love you now. We have the best relationship now. But she was jealous. my mom jealous, and I thought at one point in time she hated me. You know what I mean? But I also had to look at her perspective, and I was not able to look at her perspective until I became an adult, that my mom didn't have parents. So she doesn't necessarily know how to parent correctly. My mom's sister raised her after turning age 10. So when I put that into perspective, it's like, oh, okay, I need to learn grace. And then my dad, he had parents, but then my dad passed away. Rest in peace, Daddy. He's up in the corner. But I realized with my dad that yes, I was so angry with my dad, and I'm thinking like, okay, why does my dad have this? Why does my dad have it all, and he doesn't want to help me? My dad was going through it mentally, and I wish every day that I was in a place to understand that, rather than being in a place of anger. But then also I have to look at my perspective. I was under 18. I wanted my dad to be a dad. And then I realized that like he wasn't being a dad. If anything, he was being an absent father. I'm looking at other kids with their dads, their fathers, loving them, females. Oh my God. And it was just like built up anger. Anger just kept building. And it wasn't until he passed away that the anger, it built some more after, but anger turned into sadness. It turned into fear. It turned into regret. It turned into I would say the main thing is regret, because we had an argument 1 month to the day that he died. Okay, so 1 month prior, May, he died in June. And that same day, then we had the argument in May. So I automatically assumed that it was my fault. I found out my mom came home at 6:30 in the morning. And at this time, I'm living in my apartment that my mom has. But my mom left because she did not necessarily want to parent anymore. So now I'm 18, living in this apartment with my sister, and we're in somebody else's basement, and I'm literally paying $900 in rent, trying to figure out who I am. If I am somebody, or am I didn't even know, but in that moment I was surviving. I was doing whatever I could to just keep a roof over my head, right? Because that's all I could do. Now, when my dad passed away, and my mom came in at 6:30, and we haven't seen her in I don't know how long. She came in, my boyfriend's laying next to me. She wakes us up, and she's crying, and she comes out, and she goes, she wakes up my sister. My sister's technically in the living room just waiting for me. So I'm like, attitude, it's 6:30 in the morning, what do you want? Why are you here? She goes, your dad passed away through an overdose. And I think I just froze, and I just went back to lay down. I didn't even necessarily cry in that moment. I just went back to lay down because I did not realize, I didn't know if it was real or not, if she was playing, if she was drunk, I didn't know. So, but I also have been just in survival mode so long that, like, any bad news was hitting me, I'm just like, okay, like, it is what it is. Another bad day. Like, it is what it is, right? But for my dad to die, I'm like, nah, she's capping. Like, it didn't register until 2 weeks later when I seen him in the casket. And now when I see him in the casket, right? Okay, I'm going too fast, so let me go back. I had to go from New York to Atlanta, so I went to work the same day that I found out my dad passed away. I didn't take no break. I didn't take no rest because it physically didn't hit my body yet. It didn't tell me like, yeah, you just lost somebody. You can cry. No, if anything, it was like, okay, somebody else that wasn't doing what you, somebody else that wasn't helping you or that should have been helping you is now not here. And I necessarily did not understand death at that time either, because I never had somebody that died in my family or in close proximity to me. Let me not say in my family, in close proximity to me, right? Because I've had people die in elementary school. I remember this girl got hit by a car, and then another girl died from cancer. So I was familiar with death, but not in terms of familiar personally to me. So 2 weeks go by, I'm still working at Amazon, trying to become a manager, just trying to figure out what I necessarily wanted to do in life. Or really, I was just working too, because this is also a little bit after COVID. So it was just like grind, right? I've just been waking up and going to sleep. I was working overnight. So I was just waking up, going to work, coming home, getting breakfast, going to sleep, and repeat. Until I took that break and I had to go back to Atlanta for my dad's funeral, right? Took the break. I'm back in Atlanta. The funeral's happening. I'm seeing family. Boom, blah, blah, blah. This is 4th of July. And then we go to the funeral. And everybody's there. This makes me a little bit emotional, so I apologize. But everybody's there. And while everybody's there, I'm like, I see him in the casket from afar, but I'm like, it still hasn't hit me yet that he's actually gone. Like, some part of me was just like, nah, he's not gone. Like, he's just playing right now. Or maybe something happened. I watched enough movies. Maybe he's just playing dead so that he ain't got to pay. I don't know. I was thinking anything that would stop me from hitting real moment. I was thinking about it. And I was believing it. Right, so I'm looking at him from the casket, and I'm like, I'm gonna let everybody go. My boyfriend's next to me. He's like, you want me to go up there with you? I'm like, no, because, again, I didn't think he was actually dead. Rest in peace, Daddy. So I let everybody go, say their goodbyes, and right before the funeral starts, I go. And I see him at the casket, and it finally hits me that he's actually gone. Like, he doesn't look real. He did not look real. He did not look like anybody that I knew. Like, he did not look like the dad that I knew. He just looked so peaceful, but he also just looked different. So I'm just sitting there, and now every emotion, the argument, everything started to come up, and all I started to say was, I apologize. I'm so sorry for everything that I've done. I'm so sorry for everything that I've done, everything that I've said. I'm so sorry for not giving you the grace that you needed, because I now understand in that moment that, well, what I was thinking in that moment was that everything that I said in that argument is maybe what drove him to Florida. And he got a hotel, and then he just started smoking, whatever, and then he got laced with fentanyl. So I'm just thinking, like, okay, maybe whatever I told him, whatever I said, because I couldn't even remember what I said, but I know I said some hurtful shit. Like, it was on some sits along the lines of, like, he was like, well, if I die, you won't be saying that if I die, you'll be missing me. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't miss you at all, because you ain't never did shit for me. You know, like, this is because he missed my birthday. Every promise that he made, he didn't fulfill. It was just, everything started coming back to me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like, if I would have known that it would cause you to end up in a casket, I probably wouldn't have said it, or I don't know, I would have just, again, conformed into who he needed me to be, so that he was happy, right? Because everybody was happy around me but me. So if anybody said anything to me, like I said, it was death out of my mouth. anything could hurt your, anything wouldn't necessarily hurt your feelings. Whether you wouldn't show it right there in front of me, I would keep going until it hurt your feelings if you made my feelings hurt. Right? That's what it was. So fast forward, the funeral was only an hour, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have some more time with him, not knowing that he wasn't getting buried, he was getting cremated. My stepmom, oh, I fucking hate her. I fucking hated her. Everything that she did with the funeral, she made all the choices. She didn't think about any of us. She said, oh, he wanted to be cremated. But I really understand that. I know that my dad probably wanted to be buried so that we can visit him. Right? So, anyway, the funeral was only an hour, and I stood at the casket the whole funeral. Because I couldn't actually bear not seeing him again after this moment. And, you know, everybody's telling me, like, while the funeral was going, my nana's trying to tell me to sit down. And I'm like, no. Nobody can tell me anything right now, because everybody in that room had more time with my dad than I did. And I was the youngest child, and I was hurting so bad. I was hurting so bad, and everybody just act like they weren't seeing it. The only person who seen it was my dad. And I'm not gonna say he's seen it, but he heard it. Because every time I was on the phone, he heard it. But with all that to say, gratitude for me didn't start until I had to realize that my words, well, for months, I've sat and I thought, like, if he died because of me, if he just did everything he was doing because of me, like, it was just left, right, whatever thought came to my head, I was going with it, and nobody was, like, stopping me, right? Like, everybody understood that I had attitude, but nobody understood that heated conversation that we had. So, fast forward, I get home, and I quit my job from Amazon because I could not see myself going back to a job that reminded me of the argument that I had with my dad. And then also, I wasn't happy at Amazon right before I went back. Right when I went back, they wanted to make me a manager, and I was just so overworked, so burnt out. And then losing my dad, I was just done. I didn't want to work, and I didn't work. I stopped working. I just up and quit. And then a week later, in the time that I up and quit, let me say this. I got my apartment, saved the money, got my apartment, then I up and quit. I knew I needed to look for an apartment because my dad was, to me, the only financially stable person in my family that made it out the hood, right? So now I'm like, okay, I need to do whatever my dad did to make it out the hood. So I need to put all my feelings aside. I need to put this death aside, and I need to go get an apartment. I need to move. I need to get away from this, and this being my mom, my sister, living in New York. So I moved to Jersey City, and that's when I realized that I was actually in survival mode my whole life, because I slept not on days on end. I'm talking about days on end. I would say for a full 3 months, I was sleeping 16 hours a day. I would wake up at 10 a.m., go to sleep by, I would wake up at 10 a.m., go to sleep again by 12 in the afternoon, and not wake up until 8, and then I'll wake up at 8, and I will only eat, and then I'll go back to sleep. Or honestly, sometimes I wasn't even eating. I would just get up, get some water, pee, and go back to sleep. But I'm talking about I would go back to sleep as if I did not sleep for the last 3 days. And it went on like that for 2-3 months. So, with all that to say, after I came out, I had to find things to be grateful for, because in that time, I only found things to be anxious for, things to be hated for. I did not, I literally couldn't see up. I couldn't look up. And until I did. And when I looked up, I looked up and I saw myself positively in gratitude, right? And I'm talking about, like, I'm just so grateful to be here, because I used to tell myself that I was going to kill myself at this age. And now I'm at this age and I have an apartment. Like, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful because I know my dad will want me to be here. I know my dad will want me to be happy in this moment. I know my dad will be grateful for me. Like, I was finding anything in that moment to bring positivity to my life, because it was all negative. My mind knew only negativity. My mind only knew that my dad's death was my fault. And how to get out of that, I only got out of that by gratitude and by the grace of God. I wouldn't even say my ex-boyfriend helped me. Yeah, I just had to start finding gratitude within myself. I just had to start finding and writing. I'm talking about writing down, like, I'm grateful to see another day. I'm grateful to have this apartment. I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. I don't know how I'm going to pay these bills, but I'm grateful. 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 And honestly, things just started looking up. There was nowhere I can go. I was already down, so it was just like I had to do everything to look forward, look up. Like, I was crying. It was hard. I was still smoking. I still smoke. But with all that to say, you have to be grateful for whatever is actually killing you. Because I had to be grateful that my dad passed away, because my dad passing away made me realize how angry I actually was and how I was actually hurting people. Now, these are people that hurt me first, granted, but I was continuously hurting them off of one little thing that they probably did 6-7 years ago. I didn't care. I did not care. I did not care. So, with all that to say, I had to set boundaries for myself, for anybody around me, for my mom. I had to set boundaries within myself to stop being so angry. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm going to leave this right here. And if this resonated with you, maybe drop something in the comments. If it didn't, thank you for watching it if you made it this far. And then also, I am going to say thank you again if you are watching, because I also have a little bit of ADHD. So sometimes I know I got off track a lot of times in this story, but it's a real thing. It's real. It happened. And I'm trying to, being that I'm now 25, I'm out of the space of, I know it's not my fault anymore. I know my dad is watching over me, and I also know that everything happens for a reason. Like, I wouldn't have made it this far if he didn't have passed, right? God forbid. But to each his own is how everybody else looks at it. And this is how I look at it, because all I could see in that time was, why couldn't my dad do this for me? Why does my mom hate me? Why does my mom does not want to do anything for me? Like, where's the structure? Where's the family? Where's this? Where's that? I couldn't see anything. So it wasn't until, like, I found gratitude, I found that I was in survival mode, that I said, oh, Like, there's more to life. There's more to me. And I don't have to conform to what everybody wants me to be. Because the moment I conformed, the moment I lost the love of my life. So may that resonate with you. May that not resonate with you. I'm not even going to listen to this video. I'm just going to post it. Because I have a big fear of perfectionism. And we're reaching 25 minutes. So I'll see you guys on the next episode. And again, thank you for being here. Namaste.